on a second. Here, let me run the intro. We're going to do it. We're doing
Let's do it.
This is True OF Entertainment.
Well, here we go. It's the man that promises you nothing and delivers. It's the veritable man motor mouth. It's Road Woods who feels the need to call himself Rob Vega. It somehow makes him feel important. Anyway, do have a listen and try not to throw up.
Oh, we are live. Look at us.
Oh,
We're
gonna be a quick one today.
no one's deported. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Today's a short show, and that's not making fun of the little people out there because you're midgets and you can't reach the countertops. But Rob's got only 30 to 35 minutes today, so it's going to be a micro show for the microwave of the midgets.
Yeah,
We're doing a show for dwarfs. How exciting!
Yeah, less waffly. Yeah, we're inclusive. DEI. Here we go. Hang on, no, sorry, I can't say that. Hey, no DEI. What are they calling it now? What does Harvard call it? The community campus affairs or something. They changed the name.
Here's the problem with it. Harvard is having remedial math and it's supposed to be like this prestigious university. So I do agree with the Trump administration to a point. It's like if some kid studies hard, he doesn't get into Harvard because he doesn't have the money, but you let some rich kid in that doesn't know 2 + 2. Yeah, I can kind of see where you don't want to give them money. I'm okay with that. It's like it should be on merit, not based on your parents can build you a library.
Yeah, well, when you're 20 years old, you think, oh, the world's all about merit. And then you realize it's got nothing to do with merit. Yeah.
It's all about cash and how many babies you can have.
My mum used to say to me, and there's a context to this, but I'll just give you what she said. She used to say to me, you're right, you either step on or you get stepped on.
I agree with that. Your mom was 100% correct.
She was a very smart woman. She went through look what she had to put up with. Damn. And God bless her. She didn't really plan to be a mother, but I was determined. What can I do?
Things happen. It's a crazy night.
Things do happen.
Things
they do. They were traversing. There's a nice French word for you, traverse, to cross. They were traversing Europe in the late 60s. And no intention of family or anything like that.
Sure.
And
bada bing, bada boom.
I want to be born. So they had to put it back to the UK, find the nearest hospital. That's where you're born. Yes, a hospital. It's a hospital, definitely.
Right here. Read that in the book.
And here we go. Here we go.
Look at you.
Oh, I'm Chinese made. The obstetrician was a Chinese gentleman. My father was always at pains to tell me you were delivered by a Chinese man.
Wow! So look at you. You're like,
I should be tariffed.
I was just going to say you're going to get it. You can't come to the States because they'll charge you 135% tariff.
And yet I was there under
for the tariffs,
false pretenses. I didn't tell them. I did not declare that I was made
in China.
No, assembled.
No, you were kind of assembled by a Chinese person. Assembled by a Chinese person in the UK.
Yes, that's right.
That's interesting. I wonder when Chinese people come over that were actually born like in China proper, if they have to pay a tariff on themselves because that's Chinese made. Whole thing, 100%.
Stephen, are you not tired of this BS? It's insane. And you know what's crazy about this? You know what I find? There's two parts. There's the entertainment part of me, and then there's the media / journalist part of me, if you can call me whatever journalist I am.
Sure, that's a loose term, but let's go with that.
Let's just pretend that I have that ability. All right.
Sure. I like it.
I write stuff. I do. Doesn't that?
I know you do. Yeah.
I do. Okay, good. So journalist.
Yeah, you're a journalist, yes.
And as you go through life, you learn to handle conflict. As conflict comes up and you get better at it, you go, what are we getting so stressed about? Right. And as you get older, hopefully you go, what are we stressing about? Why are we so stressed about things? And I guess
you run a world.
it's the perspective of age. And so I remember even when I was a kid, I used to go and visit a relative or two in one of these elderly. We used to call them old age homes. You're not allowed to call them that, are you?
They are old age homes, or they
We
call them
call them,
retirement centers. We just
when I
call
was
them
growing
ones
up,
that
it's
closer
called an
to the
old age home.
grave. Right.
Yeah,
They're
when
an
I
old
was
age
growing up, it's called an old age home.
next
Now
to the
it's
cemetery.
yeah,
Retirement homes, right, next to the cemetery.
retirement homes. I mean, my mum used to call them God's waiting room, and whatever, stuff like that. Yeah,
We're going to put the people that are about to die. So,
and the people that we used to go and visit,
mhm.
they were cool. They said, "Yeah, I'm in God's waiting room." I don't know what it was. It was, this is grumpy old man time, but I even think the old people then, and they were old. They said, "I'm old. I'm not."
Yeah.
One guy said to me, he said, "I'm not senior." He said, "I'm senior what? That makes me sound old." He said, "I'm old. That's it.
All
Great. Boom. And that's it." Okay.
But back in your
It's
day,
not
old was like
insults.
40.
He said, "I'm not
So,
young." He
right.
said, "I'm not young. I'm old." And
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay. And there was I remember thinking years later, they were just, they didn't get bent out of shape by words. It was amazing. You
Yeah.
remember that thing when you were growing up? I don't know. There was what was it? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words, well,
Will never hurt me. Right. Now it's sticks and
yeah.
stones. Well,
Now,
now they say sticks and stones will break my bones, words will hurt me, which is bullshit. Mine always used to be sticks and stones will break your bones, but whips and chains excite me. But
right.
everybody's got their
That's
own
much more
little
fun.
thing. There you have it.
That's much more fun.
Yeah.
And it's a great word. I love the words. But
Whips and
seriously,
chains. Yes.
it's
Okay.
what I think is tiring for me. I mean, obviously Canada just had their election now,
Yeah.
and the Orange Man has just had 100 days, and then I was watching a report from the UK, and they were just incredulous, and
Right.
it's not, there's nobody, there are no adult people left. There are no adults. It's just
the new prime minister
children.
of Canada is an adult. He is very
Yeah,
much.
no, he is. Mark Carney, yes, he's a very
Mark Carney's an adult.
He's urbane. He's very urbane. I love that
Yes.
word. He's urbane.
Yes.
He's measured,
Mhm.
and he goes, this one's reason and this one's quiet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat you up with my reasonable attitude and my quiet diplomacy. I don't know, whatever. But yes, I don't know him. I've never met him, but I've got to tell you. Oh, quickly.
Yeah.
Before I forget.
Sure.
So in 2008, I was planning to move to Canada. We were thinking of going back to the UK, but I wasn't really. The thing is, I can always go back. I can always go back to the UK. I mean, I've got all the bits, and they like me.
You're made in China.
I'm British born, and I look like this. I'm fine. I'm all good. Although maybe I don't know. So it's there. It's always a possibility. I can do it, and because of that, I've always thought I'm not really feeling. I want to traverse the world.
Sure.
I want to move around, and I still might move somewhere else. I mean, I've always thought China might be interesting. I don't know. Whatever. I just want. I just won't mention religion or politics, and then I'll be fine.
Yeah. Or
really,
panties.
I wouldn't be going there for that. It's just the people are nice. I've had a great experience. Anyway,
Great Chinese food, which is
good. Yeah, but proper Chinese food, not American Chinese food.
Because proper Chinese food.
People go Chinese food, and I go, nah, that's an American invention. It's not a Chinese invention.
What do you call Chinese food in China?
American food. I don't know. McDonald's. I don't know.
Like if you're in China, you don't go. Let's go get Chinese food. Yeah, let's go get some food. Right? Yeah,
it's food. It's not Chinese food. It's food. This is food. I don't know what you guys are eating. That crap, but this is food.
Yep.
And I've got to say, their diets are. I mean, well, how many thousand years is China? Thousands of years. They've done all.
Thousands.
They've the acupuncturists. I mean, you look at something like acupuncture. I want to get back to my Canadian story in a second. But acupuncture, I mean, people just go, acupuncture, Chinese thing. It's bloody clever. It's really clever. I have a muscle thing, and they put machines on me, and they try and rub the crap out, and they go, no. Get me an acupuncturist. I mean, I was a little, Okay, but chap comes in. Good morning, sir. Hello. Very urbane.
Mm-hmm.
Not the guy who delivered me. It's not the guy who delivered me. And stretches me out, and he goes, and I'm like, oh my God. And I look, and I see this long, oh God, don't show me. And he goes, and it's a bit weird. You feel like a little, and then, shit, look at that. Huh? This is how many thousands of years was that developed? It's really clever. It's very clever. Chinese invention. And I, what's my point? My point is they've been around so long, they've done so many things. I think they must be sitting there watching this shit show going, what are you doing, children? What are you doing? What? We just want to sell you stuff.
Basically, they don't care. They just like, let us sell you.
What is everybody getting so upset about? And that brings me, before I get to the Canada thing. Now, let me tell a Canada story quickly. All right. So in 2008, I was going to move to Canada. I decided.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah.
Sorry,
because for a couple of reasons. Let me explain my reasoning. These are very cheap reasons, but they're reasons.
Sure.
Okay. This was in 2008.
Gotcha.
So I was still relatively young. I had small kids, and I could speak a bit of French, and I ticked all the boxes. They were happy. I had enough points. I was in. Good.
Gotcha.
And I got myself an immigration attorney in Montreal. Very good. Lovely. My aunt lived in Canada for a long time. So I'd had the second hand. I mean, in retrospect, I would say to myself, my younger self, don't you maybe want to go there for a bit and check it out first? Because it's a little different. Just check it out. But I was really keen. I was really keen because always been a big fan of the US. But what I liked about Canada, I know this is cheap. It's weird, but I thought, and this was 17 years ago, so I've learned something from that. It's like the US, except the words are spelled correctly, and it's metric.
Wow.
And there's
That's
the Queen.
how you
And
judge
there's
the
the
country.
Queen. And I just thought, this should be quite interesting. Nah, there's other reasons, but I'm joking.
Okay.
But we decided to go, and everything was set up. It was all good. Paid all my fees, ready to go. And then a guy called Stephen Harper expanded his majority. I think he was the prime minister, and then he was a conservative, and then he expanded it a bit more. I think the vote was I think they had an election in about October 2008. You know what's going to happen now, don't you? So he got in, and he implemented a lot of important measures for the Canadian people, some tax cuts and cost-cutting measures, because generally that's what conservatives do. They cut government spending and costs most of the time. And one of the things he cut was the entire entertainment and athletic, the whole performance-based visa category. Gone.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Gone. So my chap emailed me and he said, your visa has gone. And I said, what do you mean it's gone? He said, well, the whole category has been removed from the immigration. What was it? CIC. I think that was the Canadian immigration thing. And that was that. So we went, oh, that's very disappointing. And then 3 years later, we moved to the US. So,
and just to let you know this about Stephen J. Harper. Stephen J. Harper now is 66 years old. And his statement is, I purposely removed the entertainment thing to fuck up Rob Vega. There you go. He was Canadian prime minister from 2006 to 2015. He was the 22nd prime minister. And what else do we have here? He's with the Conservative Party, better known as the Friendly Nazis. And he's been married to the same chick since 1993. And he went to Calgary University. So there you go. There's Stephen J. Harper, everybody. There you have it.
I mean, yeah, sure. I didn't get to know him because I didn't ever get to live there. But
it's his loss.
The funny, maybe. I don't know. Canada's going, dodged a bullet there. But when I lived in the States, one of my colleagues was, I'm not going to mention his name, but he was a chap from Canada, and he had moved we both had the same visa, the O1 visa, which is the it sounds terrible. An alien of extraordinary ability. So I had an O1 visa.
Wow.
I still have one. I think I can renew it. Maybe I can't. I don't know.
You have extraordinary abilities. That's
I
awesome.
want you back. Yeah, I know. Little did they know. I had a good lawyer.
Okay.
So we both landed in New York, landed at the same time.
Sure.
And he used to tell me all about not Toronto, it's Toronto. Got to say it right.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto. Yeah.
And gave me a different perspective on Canada, which I wouldn't say it was negative, but he was a Canadian, obviously, and he'd lived there and said, "Did you know this?" And I went, "No." And he went, "So just something to, if you ever do decide to go again, something to think about."
Right.
People are great, no question. Healthcare is good, but there's the whole. He said it's a different environment, you know. And look, from his perspective, he had left and he had aimed for America, so he was obviously, his mind was programmed towards the US and away from Canada to justify what he was doing. So I took it with a pinch of salt. I still hope in my time on this mortal coil, honestly, especially now with Mark Carney and the where Canada's going, and my British connection, I would really like to, you know, ring that bell, live there for a while. It's something I would like to do. Yeah.
I visited there often enough. We did a deal in Vancouver, so I got to live in Vancouver for a couple of months in Toronto, and so I've done the Canada thing. It's very nice. The people are just like they're in the States. They don't know how to drive, and it's like okay, it's no different than being anywhere else. I mean, like if you're a nice person in general, everyone will like you. If you're a dick, you're a dick. So everyone loved me because I'm a wonderful person, and I can also lick my eyebrows with my tongue. So the girls loved me, and and I enjoyed it. It was wonderful. So yeah, I had a good time in Canada. And they speak. The nice thing is they speak English. Let's go to Quebec, and then they just think they're all foo-foo with their French. So, but other than that,
but
I could go to university. All I know how to do is get slapped. So, so that's all I learned.
Did you just say that they just like Americans? Did you say that? Did I hear you say that?
They are no different than America.
Oh,
I know they don't want to hear that. They are.
I think they might take a little bit of issue with that.
Listen, all six of them can come across the border and invade us. Yeah, all six of them can come across the border and invade us whenever they want. According to Trump, he wants it to be the 51st state. So technically, they're just like Americans. But no, I mean, I found everybody friendly there. I had a good time. When Vancouver has its own little Chinatown, I always would go there for dinners and lunches and dim sum. It was wonderful, no different than New York's, except you didn't hear a guy go, "Yo, Vinny." You know, so in Toronto, it's just a clean version of New York. And like I said, Montreal, Montreal.
You know what I find, I still do, I find really impressive about Canada is it's this, I mean, it's a global force, no question. It's huge. It has a tremendous impact on the planet, and yet it has half the population of the UK. Which is extraordinary. I mean, what are they, like 35 million people? That's it.
So, but I'll look it up.
A giant. I mean, it's massive. It's bigger than the US if you include the water.
Let's see.
But no, it's just. I think for me, the thing that's always attracted me to Canada, and I've got to get there. I really do. Maybe I'll feel differently. I don't know. I know Vancouver is ridiculously expensive.
Just so you know, the population of Canada as of 2023, because God forbid Google would update this, is 40 million people.
I was at 40 million. You know why? No, I know why. Million? What year was that?
2023.
You know why it's gone up?
Mm-hmm.
It's all the people who left after the first Trump administration.
That's probably they all went up there. Here, and a lot of them did. Here's something.
50 million soon. Oh, goodness me.
We're doing a commercial for Canada. I expect a check.
Oh my God.
Is Canada bigger than the US? Only in penis size. No. Yes, Canada is bigger than the United States when considering total area, land, and water. Canada is the second largest country in the world. While the US is fourth. However, the US has slightly larger area than Canada. So that makes no sense, but that's what it says. So
No,
there you have
because
it.
yeah, but you know why that is because they are including the water, and I may be wrong, but I
Right.
think Canada's got more than it might be higher, but it's got I think 60% of the world's lakes and fresh water. I think I haven't Googled that. You can Google that, but
I'm
I
going to
think
Google that. So yeah,
has
Canada.
has the majority of the entire planet of all the lakes and fresh waters in Canada. So, and I love water and I love lakes. So, boom. But,
All right, let's take a look.
is he going to,
Canada is home to many freshwater lakes, with the Great Lakes Superior, blah, 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 among being the largest. Like one of the, it's just, it doesn't tell me if it's the largest in the world or anything, but there you go.
no, it's not that. No, Russia's got the largest lake in the world. It's Banyan or Bankal or something is in Russia. Oh, it's the deepest. It's the deepest. No, I don't mean that, but I mean in terms of all the lakes. It's got
Yeah, I'm looking.
majority. Yeah. Anyway, that's not what I want to do, but you can look that up.
You were correct. Canada has the most freshwater lakes in the world, accounting for approximately 60% of the world's natural lakes. They also contain they also contain 20% of the world's total freshwater resources. So once again, to Mark Connie, it's called 2OF Entertainment. Please make the check payable to cash. Anyway, go ahead.
Correct. Yeah, Canada tourism. Here we come. They don't need a tourism board. I think they just
do.
fine.
They need
They're
us.
just fine.
We should be the poster children for the Canadian Tourist Board. A South African / UK guy delivered by a Chinese guy going, oh, and then a Jew from New York. That is the Canadian. That's what the Canadian needs to get people to want to go there. That would be awesome. All we need is a black guy, and we need a lesbian that's Puerto Rican or Hillary Clinton, same thing, and somebody else. Huh?
Who's handicapped.
Everything handicapped, and we just need someone from the LGBTQ MOUSC community. We're good.
Yeah. ASAP VIP on the QT.
There you go.
Can you still say disabled, or is there another word?
Yeah, I don't change. It's disabled. What do you want? There's no hand. You're disabled. It's cutting you. It's like when they go. The person's not short. They're vertically challenged. They're short. They're short. Okay. Like there's no. Let's stop with it. This
but you
is
know
the
what,
problem.
Stephen.
Yes.
Two things I want to say before I actually get to the
main point.
Eventually, the problem with having this euphemistic approach to vocabulary is no one ever confronts anything. It's like we're protecting people from everything and making them weak in the face of everything.
Correct.
If someone says you're a dick, great. And actually, it does lead to what I wanted to say. I find this whole thing tiring, not because you have a left and a right, you have progressive, conservative, you have some people saying tariffs are great and others saying, are you insane? Mm-hmm. Different sides of the argument. There is a concern that there's a polar opposite situation going on, and the abyss, the divide between the two is quite large. But it's almost as if people, they can't live with differences of opinion. And you have a leader of the free world, sorry, not the leader of the free world, he runs the world, who is incapable of taking any criticism. Mm-hmm. And as a leader, you should, that's part of it's point one, job description. Can you take criticism? It's the first thing they ask a proper leader. Can you handle that? Can you take that? And bear in mind, he's not really a leader. He's got the wrong idea. He's not a chief. That's an outdated concept. He's a servant. And we mentioned this before. And the real issue, my problem with the whole thing is you don't have to react to everything.
Right.
And that's the tiring thing. Make your point. Say you're great. Say you're the best president ever. Say this. Fine. Okay. Fine. But people are allowed to have a different point of view, and you don't have to react to it all the time. This is the thing that's tiring. I watched some clown on one of these newscasts, and yes, he was a conservative fellow, and the anchor was asking him some very straight, statistically based questions.
Right.
And he just wouldn't hear of it unless she agreed with his point of view. And then what about, and what about? This what aboutness is unbelievable. And every time you attack someone, they start bringing up the past. It happens here. It happens where you are. It happens everywhere. Someone made the point about Mark Carney. Someone was interviewing him and bringing up some pretty tricky things and Trump and this and that.
Right.
He didn't criticize Trump. He didn't blame Trudeau. He didn't blame the past. He didn't blame the progressives, the conservatives, or whatever. He made no reference to anyone else but what he was going to do. What am I going to do? I'm here for Canada. This is what I'm going to do. And I thought, good God, I'm jealous of Canada. They've actually got an adult leading them. Now, I don't know all his policies. I don't know much about where he stands on certain things. But my general sense is that he is someone that I could comfortably agree and disagree with. And he wouldn't feel the need to troll me or throw my name away or put my professional situation in jeopardy or make childish comments about me at rallies and stuff. And I go, it's not the point of view that me personally have a problem with, left or right. It's the fact that it's the inability to just accept that people don't agree with you. Just do that. And I will say this. I don't know what my position really is on Trump. I don't know. I don't know him personally. Bill Maher says he's a great guy when he had a meal with him, and then he gets on a stage and he becomes someone else. I mean, it's showmanship. And I just think the man in the street or the woman in the street, and this is not just the US, it's globally, you need someone who's not showboating for themselves. You want someone who serves you. Stop grandstanding. Just be normal. Just serve people for the love of God. And if someone disagrees with it, okay. Then you run for office and you come up with a policy. In the meantime, here I am. Feel free to leave your comments and your complaints and comments at the door. Thank you very much. Leave it at that. Why do you have to get so personal with people? Why do you have to get and it's not just Trump, it's the whole, it's both sides. It's both sides. And you know what? You hear some great ideas coming out of people's mouths. You do. Left and right. A Republican and Democrat, for example, using your situation.
Right. Sure.
And they just get shut down because they're the wrong party. That they obviously are coming from some agenda. So we'll just not listen to them.
Right.
And that for me is the tiring thing. I look at this and I go, can't you just be adults? I've got a mate, he's living in the UK right now, and I've known him for a long time. I think he's thinking of coming back here to South Africa. I'm not sure. He's a Portuguese fellow and he's done with the UK for whatever reason. But we disagree on a lot of things. Right. But we're mates. Yeah. I can have a drink with him, a beer, whatever it is. He's a great, I'm not saying all Portuguese people know how to cook, but a lot do. Portuguese food is.
Let's not stereotype. So.
But that is stereotype, which I think works.
Appreciate. Yeah, there you
I
go.
know what it is. There's something where wherever they make Portuguese people in some cuisine
delivered by a Chinese doctor. That's what they do. Yeah,
maybe. but he's not a trained chef. None of that. But man, the man understands food, and it's fantastic.
But anyway, to your point,
hang on. Before you carry on. But what I want to say is, I can sit down with him. We can chat. Here's the thing. Here's what's exciting for me. When I'm sitting with someone I don't agree with, so they hold a different point of view. If you shut your shit down, your need to just knee-jerk come back with a counter argument. If you just shut up and just go, okay.
Right.
There are occasions when you go, wow, okay, that's something I hadn't thought of.
Right.
And I've learned something from him and he's learned something from me. You don't learn that much from people you agree with. You don't. Not really. What do you think? Don't you think this is true? Yes. Done. Learning over. However, if someone I think the sky is, here's an example. If you say the sky is blue, if you said that to me, I go, no, it's not actually. It's several shades of blue. There's a bit of white in it and whatever. Now, I'm using that as a sort of a vulgar common example, but both are true. Both are true. So the one person just sees the sky in an unartistic way and goes, it's blue. An artist looks at the sky and says, well, that's not entirely true. There's a little bit of gray in it, a little bit of, you might even see other colors. So they can learn from each other. They see something in a different way because of their abilities, their aptitudes, their attitudes, and they will see something in a different way. Neither one of them are wrong, and neither one of them are completely right. Now, it's the same with all the bullshit going on in the world right now. So you can tell me what you can hold that thought. So the tariff thing is interesting because on paper you can see why. Okay, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. Okay, this is why it's bad. So at some point you put these ideas together and you find something that's going to work for most people. But only adults can do that. Only adults can come into a room. The one says yay for tariffs, the one says no for tariffs. They get together and they go, okay, somewhere in there is what is actually real and what is a practical solution. But polar opposites are not the answer. I think we know that. Not you can't have.
So we're not going to come to any agreement on tariffs. Because our president's 5 years old.
That's why this is not going to go away, because no one's listening to anybody. No,
no, that's not really true. People are listening. The Chinese president was like, we'll do this, we'll do that. And Trump was talking about all this crap. And the Chinese president was like, you know what, screw you, we don't need you. Now Amazon's trying to pressure all the Chinese vendors to lower their prices so they can not have to raise prices because they're afraid they're going to lose money. UPS yesterday laid off 20,000 employees because they're afraid Amazon orders are going to go down. But to go back to your original point, if I may, and just so you know, a fan wants you to do the rest of the show as Arnold Schwarzenegger. To go back to the original, I'm just reading what they write. To go back to the original point.
Thank you.
There you go. The problem that we have is, to your point, Trump thinks he's a king. The people in the Senate and the Congress forget that they were elected, and from Trump all the way down to, if you will, the mailman, they're all civil servants. They work for the people, but some of them get elected and they forget that. And because they forget that, they have this mindset that, like, I'm God. No, you're just a piece of shit. And that's the problem. And until we go back to where these people go, I need to serve my constituents, not give bullshit rhetoric. Right. You're not going to have that. And I think that's it. And I think that's going to be a problem. And I think until that happens, whether it's in the United States or elsewhere, that's the problem. On the tariffs, Trump keeps doing, like, today there's a tariff, tomorrow there's not, blah, blah, blah. And when you read what's going on with the world leaders are like, all right, when the 5-year-old is done fucking around, then we can get down to serious business. And China's made it very clear. And I've talked to someone who knows more about China than I do economically. They're like, they don't need the United States. They've made that very clear by cutting off the beef, the soybeans, of this. They're buying it everywhere else. So basically what Trump's doing is he's hurting the American farmers. He's hurting now, like one day there's tariffs on automotives and the next day there's not. So even like, with the $6 trillion loss in the stock market, all he's doing is, there's an article yesterday in Bloomberg about his cryptocurrencies. All he's doing is making Trump rich. He could care less about anything else. And that's the problem.
What I find extraordinary, and I've said this before, but it bears repeating. Worth repeating. Whatever. I am a big fan of the American experiment, the U.S. experiment.
Yes.
I know the history of America pretty well. Not all of it.
Right.
Not 500 years of it, but I know a lot of it. Most, whatever it. Okay. And it's a truly extraordinary societal journey. It's got some incredible people that have built some incredible things and done some amazing things. And the thing that I've always admired, I'm not worshiping the place, but I admire what the people who went there did. And I make that reference quite clearly. The people who went there, immigrants, people who traversed, who sacrificed to be there. Some amazing people. incredible people, and they were prepared to die for things. They stood for things. They were just adults. You know, they were adults. They had suffered. I mean, immense suffering. I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what. I mean, you know, they didn't even have internet, for God's sake. So they suffered. They really suffered. But they built things, and they were about value and about just, I don't know, right and wrong, and just good old, I'm sorry to use this expression, salt of the earth people that really didn't have time for bullshit, because for many of them, daily life was a life or death situation. Okay, so they endured stuff. I'm not saying we must go back there and go back into the coal mines and whatever, but just have some context or some perspective for the people that built what the US is about. And it is a kaleidoscope of humanity. It's not about one group or another group, this group, that group. The strength of America, and this is not a damn progressive playbook thing, is the fact that you have such a variety of people, because that is the human condition. When you have just one group, things don't go well. Diversity is not just something where you're trying to encourage everybody to be represented. That is another conversation. I'm just saying what is. There's a kaleidoscope of people, of talent. I mean, that's why when I go to London, the food is so good. I don't eat English food. I eat whatever, Moroccan food, Thai food, whatever, because there's so many different, it's wonderful. It's great. This idea, this protectionist thing is, and somebody will probably take issue with me, and I don't care. It's not an American thing at all. That is not what America's about. America is not supposed to be, it's not this protectionist, isolationist, whatever. It's we can do anything. We can, what do we need? Let's get it done. What do you mean it can't be done? There's got to be a way. All right.
Well, it didn't work. It didn't work 100 years ago when William McKinley was president. The protectionism, they got rid of it, and it's not working now. And now we're about to go into a depression. Yeah.
American history America works best when people are, I say aloud, or have the freedom to just get on with stuff. The people just get on with it. They express themselves. They want to. They go where they want to. They do what they want to. Yes, with some law and order. But I'm just saying, when you start this protectionist thing, and the whole world is against us. The whole world is not against the US. I will tell you now, smart people, anybody with half a brain, is in admiration. Europeans, I'm not saying now, but if you were to go through, let's pick an era, say during the Clinton era, all right?
Sure.
While Bill Clinton was there, or
He
even
loves
Reagan,
cigars.
even Carter, or even whatever. You went through Europe and said, what do you think of the US? I guarantee you most of them would say, oh, they're a super ally. We can count on them. We love the US. It's big, it's beautiful. And there was no sense of, it just brought a smile to people's faces. And it's still, I still think it's there. I still think it's there. But you've got a guy in there who, I don't know, he doesn't look, represent, think, argue, believe in any of the things any of the Americans I know believe in.
He doesn't believe, he's
I don't know who he is, but for me, America's not about, first of all, it's a collection of people from around the world. So you've got Europeans, Africans, Asians. I mean, with all due respect, I enjoy China. I haven't been there. I think they're great. But if you go to China, it's mainly Chinese people. It doesn't have that kaleidoscope that America has, which is brilliant. It's a welcoming place. There's plenty for everyone. It's got tons of cash. It's a brilliant organization. But you've got someone there now who sits and says the world is against us. You've got to put up the guardrails. We need to arm ourselves. We're going to fight. What is this crap? What are you on about? There are people who are suffering, but it's not, I promise you, it's not the rest of the world who is against the US. The manufacturing is because Americans went around the world and said, where can we get things done? This is not the rest of the world. Why is this gang mentality? It's so tiring. And then when somebody, a fellow American, has an alternative view to his, he's the loser, he's the worst. And I go, what are you doing? America is about free speech. It's not about the speech that you want to hear. It's free speech. And free
That's what you
speech
get in a
is any speech.
that's what you get in a dictatorship.
Any
This is
speech.
where we're becoming. Right. There's no free speech.
You can't start tailoring free speech. You just can't do that.
He's trying.
Because let me just finish this and say, and the reason why, let me tell you why free speech is so important. Because the moment you clamp down on free speech, it doesn't go away.
Right.
It doesn't go away. Those ideas, those thoughts, those whatever, those anti-thoughts to yours don't go away. They just stew and build and grow. And the next thing, you have a problem. Now, it is a known fact. If I look at South Africa as an example, we mentioned this before. One of the great things about this country is that it opened up, and people of all the, I don't use the word races. You see the other podcasts, I don't believe in races, but people of different melanin content all kind of started working together more and socializing, and they went, oh, look at that, you're human. Just, wow, you just got a bit more melanin, but, brilliant. So they started talking now, and then they started talking more, and comfortable conversations were had. And then people started to learn, oh, you think that? Well, let me explain to you why you're wrong. Oh, I think that, and there was an exchange of ideas. Right. I guarantee you, if you have, for example, a racist idea, you think all white people can't dance. Well, that's true. No, I'm kidding. But let's say you have that idea, and then you go to a party, and there's white people there, and they're throwing it down, and they're dancing. You go, oh shit, they can dance. Well, some of them can, and it's the same. Not all black people can sing. A lot of them can.
Whoa, they can't? Because I gotta write this down. I didn't know that.
Oh, I've seen a few. But the point, Stephen, is then when the information is disseminated, when the ideas are spooling around on the table, you look at them and you go, oh wow, look at that. You see. And you realize most of the idiot ideas that we all have are bullshit. They're absolute bullshit. And there are more, I get back to the more differences. I've got a mate who lives in Australia now. We are of the same melanin content. We went to the same schools. We have the same background. There are more differences between him and I than people of color that I know. So what does that mean? It means it's all bullshit. We're having conversations. We're talking. I mean, he still believes in Jewish space lasers. Right?
As he should, because that's true, by the way. We do have Jewish space lasers. I'm just saying. So.
But the thing is, I will disagree with him.
Right.
But he knows that I'm not going to shut him down. I'll go, well, listen, man, that's not my point of view. That's yours. Anyway, let's cook some meat and have a beer. Great.
With the Jewish space laser.
But we need that. That's what free speech is about. Look, hate speech, and this is the thing. If you shut down free speech, genuine free speech, I believe that can create hate speech. That starts to create hate speech, because then you start putting people into corridors, echo chambers, and you start filling their heads with shit. Now, if they have access to the other speech, all of it, they'll go, no, mate, you're talking crap. Because look, but if you silo them into their groups and you shut them down and you say you can't say that, you can't say that, you can't say that, they're going to go and say it somewhere else, and they're going to say it in a more radical way, and you get the problem grows. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree with them. I mean, we joke about the whole Nazi thing, but you know what? If my neighbor wanted to stand on his balcony and do the whole Elon Musk salute, because that's what it is now, I would go, well, that's not great, but okay. Can you just, I'm just going to look the other way, because, but I'm not going to, I am going to disagree with it. Right. I'm not going to stop him doing it, because if I stop him doing that, he's going to go, you see, they're controlling me. And then it's going to get worse. And who knows what he will do. This is why free speech is in your Constitution. It's in the First Amendment. It's the First Amendment, right? The First Amendment.
First Amendment. Wow.
But it's the very first thing. It's so important. And you don't have to agree with people. We mentioned this. That guy that they deported, whatever. I don't agree with him,
Yeah.
but I don't have to hate him.
Hey, the best
Don't
part
agree
about
with his ideas,
yeah.
but wow, he doesn't
Yeah.
like mine. Must I be deported, or who gets to decide that shit?
Well, apparently they made two mistakes because they deported like a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old that were American citizens, and they can't get them back either. So that's good. Talking about deportation. But what's interesting though is we used to have a president that was, kind of like a human being, not a dictator. And the press secretary usually had a sense of humor and would answer questions. The press secretary we have now, which
Oh,
I
geez,
know, which I love the blonde chick, but I will say this:
oh, wow.
when I talked to Kim Jao the other day,
Oh,
he said, "We sent you the press secretary. How do you like her?" And I'm like, "Oh, she's wonderful. She is literally,
rechargeable. You
yeah,
can
she is."
recharge her.
Yeah, I'm like, what do you plug her in at night? I mean, she is like Kim Jong's press secretary. She like the party line. If Trump told you that the moon is purple and you disagreed, she would tell you the moon is purple. I saw one of her press conferences, and not only was I in a shock, but I laughed my ass off because 90% of what she said was wrong. The reporters were calling her out, and she argues with them, and then she goes, it's like same thing Trump does to AP. That's why we don't want you here. And I'm like, interesting. So you can't even get the truth out of the press secretary. And just to let you know, we have fans from New Zealand watching this morning or this evening. So hello to New Zealand. There you go.
Hey, All
So,
Blacks.
hey, all
The
blacks.
second
Well,
best team in
and
the world. No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
we don't mean that as a racist comment. Unless you're a white supremacist, then hey, there you go. But my point
Rugby
is like,
team.
yeah,
Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
there you go. So yes, we know it's a rugby team. But my point is like, seriously, we don't have anybody, adults in the room. Mark Cubio, whatever his name is, Rubio, who hated Trump, loves Trump because he got a gig. The guy who called Trump Hitler is the vice president. I mean, this is the craziest thing. It's like we have no adults in the room. So to your point, you can't have an actual dialogue at all with this administration, and the leaders of the world, as much as they're kissing his ass, are making plans not to really deal with America. When you talk to them globally, they're all like, they're giving up. And
Okay.
America is going to cause a global depression, which is really going to be bad because the only way you get out of a depression is a war. And thank God Russia will be taking over the Ukraine and Poland in no time. So there you go.
I need to go, but I just want to
I
summarize.
know, I missed you already.
I'm going to say this. Just before someone says I'm a progressive or a liberal or a conservative or whatever the hell, I'm not actually. I'm fiscally conservative and socially probably liberal. That's it. So I don't know who I'd vote for. Just putting that out there. I don't have. Here's the weird thing. I don't have a personal problem with Trump. I don't know him. I don't know him. And the weird thing is, this is going to surprise the hell out. Well, it may not. There's some things he says I go, yeah, sure. My position on the trans thing is I have no problem with anybody being allowed or being whoever they are. I have a little bit of an issue. We've discussed this. I don't want my daughter and I disagree with this, for example, but because she's a scientist and she said, Dad, there's no basis. They give them all the trans athletes are given all the medication and they are absolutely female. And I go, yeah, but the hips are the same. Anyway, the point is we disagree, but you're still my daughter and we're able to carry on a functioning relationship. I don't have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with them being in women's sports. That's my personal viewpoint. That's my viewpoint. And that happens to align, strangely enough, with a lot of the stuff that Trump does. So I'm just saying, it's not like I disagree with him on everything. But there are a lot of things I do. But that's fine. I don't have to agree
You're
with him.
allowed to disagree.
No, but hang on. And he doesn't have to agree with me. And he doesn't even know why. But the point is, that's life. Stephen, if we drill down and we brought up 100 issues and we drilled down on them and did whatever, you probably find there were a couple of things we don't agree on. Great, good. Okay, so what? Now we must not talk to each other and you're a loser. This is the problem. It's not that people have Trump derangement syndrome. I don't care about it. Just express your ideas and just realize there are people who don't agree with you and leave it at that.
That's
it.
that easy.
Don't go after them. Let them be who they are. Because that going after people who disagree with you, I have to say that's a very un-American thing to do. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to be patronizing and people say, oh, what does he know? I do know a few things, and that is a very un-American thing to do. It's an undemocratic thing to do. It's unless the guy's got a gun and he's forcing you to think something, he's perfectly entitled to have a different opinion to you. Like I said, if a guy got on his balcony and he was doing Nazi salutes, that wouldn't go down well with me, but okay. He's not on my property, and my kids can't see it. Okay, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to call him names.
Right.
To his face.
Maybe. Yeah, to his face, behind his back, we're going to have a field day. So,
Yeah.
The American
And I'm
way.
sure there are things that lots of people don't like about me or disagree with me. Great.
Right.
I don't want them to threaten me, and I won't threaten them. Be who you are. That's it.
Yep,
That's all.
I agree. And really quick before we go, all the fans that we couldn't get to your comments, we apologize. We'll be back next Wednesday live. You can catch us wherever you get your podcasts. We're everywhere. Just look for 2OF Entertainment or 2 Old Farts Making Noises. You can look for Vaguely there, or you can go and catch it on the channel here.
Yeah.
With rebroadcasting on Friday. Don't forget to subscribe and like. We will be back next Wednesday live with Rob Vega and myself. As we say, we know nothing about global politics here on Vaguely True or Vaguely News.
You're
Have a wonderful day. Rest of the week. We'll see y'all later. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to this Old Woods Rob Vega, whatever the hell he wants to call himself, fellow. You know, this podcast thing, it makes him feel very important, and he's a difficult fellow as it is to deal with. So thank you so much for putting up with him, and do take care.